I'm with a lot of people who are just coming out from boot camp, and apparently like a lot of their instructors, like they can't cuss at them anymore. They can't cuss at them. They can't they can't PT them without the instructor PTing themselves.
Right.
So like if I say, hey, drop as a sergeant, I have to drop and do it with you.
Right.
And I'm like, what? Like, isn't that just crazy to you?
Yeah. Well, we kind of had that. We kind of had that rule through training for us.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that there's a lot of different instructors.
That's
so
true.
when this instructor gets tired,
That is fair.
they swap in.
That's very fair.
So there's ways around it. I don't mind that one too much, but yeah, I mean, part of the hardening process is dealing with external stimuli. So if you're going to remove that entirely, you know, what's next? You know, okay, you can't raise your voice at people either. You know, like, look, say what you want about cussing. Like, it doesn't matter in that moment.
Right.
That's not what matters.
Yeah. And I think, again, it depends. They have so many people that are coming in, and they are not training people job specific. Right. So like, again, like somebody from infantry may be with the same person that's a cook, or may be the same person that is, again, like I was, intel or what.
Have you ever worked in a commercial kitchen?
Oh, no.
There's more cursing in there than there is in the military.
Yeah, no. And I'm not hating on that, but I'm just saying, like, they have to get all these people ready for combat, right? Or what they're thinking is combat for, depending whatever your branch is.
Their duty.
Yeah. They have to get you ready for duty. And the only way to do that is to baseline it. And, again, like coming from a police academy too, like the only way to get that stimulus, that stress response, or to induce that stress response, again, is like by having people yell at you and scream at you and stress you out, right?
Yeah.
So like, how do I know that you're going to even be able to fire your gun? Or if I need you to cover me, how do I know that you're not going to clam up? Because again, I can't test it. I can't shoot real bullets at you and try to increase and get the stimuli from you. So again, boot camp, they do the best they can of trying to naturally get that stimulus of like, hey, like I need you to think and focus about your job, exactly what you need to do when shit hits the fan and like bullets are screaming by, or maybe a bomb just went off outside the base and we're on lockdown or whatever. Again, whatever it is, everybody has an essential mission, but I have to get you, again, basic, what they call basic training. I have to get you basically qualified to handle the bare minimum of what could happen. And that's why, like, you're stuck in this area of trying to find this happy medium of, okay, what is too tough or what's not, again, like the hazing, because I get the push-ups and all that thing. Like, cause the military's had problems with hazing. Like I think it still does. Like, even, I don't know if you're a college football fan, but they had the hazing thing at Northwestern where coach just got fired. Like it is something that is still out there in society. You may not hear it, but it is. And so it is a fine line. But it's definitely something that,
but I think again, and this is one thing that I've been talking a lot with people is I try to frame everything in the sense of this pendulum, because sure, it has gone too far in the way towards, bullying and hazing and all that stuff.
right.
But the correct response is not to go all the way over to nothing absolutely ever at all, because nothing good can ever come from it. Like, no. You need a little bit of bullying. You need a little bit of hazing. It toughens people up. And I think that part of the reason why the military is having to adjust in that direction is because the quality of the people coming in were brought up in this newer generation. It kind of started with our generation, where you kind of started to see the softening of kids that grow up into adults, obviously, whether it was, the old, everybody gets a trophy type of thing. And, like the anti-bullying campaigns. Look, I was bullied. I came to the United States not speaking one word I knew in English. Literally the word apple was the only word that I knew at the time. Right. So I was mocked. I was picked on, all that stuff. Thankfully, it was never to the point of extreme hazing. Right. But I think that level of bullying that I received shaped me into the tough-minded person that I am today. And that's why I'm able to be calm under pressure, and then if you have to expose early, right? Because if you expose too late, you've seen it all over social media or in videos or whatever. These kids that grow into these adults that see a little bit of resistance to their ideas or their way of living or whatever, and they just have literally like tantrums like 2-year-olds because they cannot handle anything not going their way.
Yeah.
That's the positive side of bullying, right?
No,
Or even just, I think shame can be good,
I agree.
right?
Yeah.
Too much shame, bad. Some shame can be very good. You know, if you are extremely unhealthy, we'll just say,
Yep.
okay,
I know you're getting that.
whether that's overweight or just weak or whatever, that's not good for you.
Yeah.
And you should feel
And there's
some
science.
level of shame in that.
There's science that backs it. It's not just like, again, people want to polarize it into this political thing. Like, again, you're bullying me or you're doing this.
Yeah.
No, there's science that backs, like you ask any doctor, even me, like, again, like I'm 220 pounds and I work out a lot or whatever. But if I go to the doctor, like I'm borderline obese or with my BMI
Right.
again, but again, it's not that it's the doctor that is saying for my height, like this weight could be unhealthy for me.
Yep.
Just because of, again, how your body has to function. I mean, look at like big guys like Shaquille O'Neal and all of that.
Right.
Do we think like Shaquille O'Neal is this overweight? Like look at him when he played, at least he was in his prime, and like all these tall, it's just your body. It's just a lot on your body when you're 7 foot tall, 300 pounds, or when you have a lot of weight on your body, whether it's muscle or fat, it is a lot on your body. It's taxing.
Your joints will pay for it.
Yeah. And your heart and everything. Even if you have good cardiovascular fitness, just having that more weight means your heart has to work harder.
Yep.
It's a fact.
Yeah. I mean, literally your heart gets fat.
Yeah.
You know, like that's one thing I feel like people don't understand is that your organs also collect fat. I mean, literally, it's called fatty liver disease, right? Fat on your liver.
Yep.
There's fat on your heart. I mean, there's plenty of pictures out there where they compare a healthy heart to an obese person's heart. And you just look at it and you're like, there's no way that obese heart is efficient in the body.
Exactly.
It's impossible. It's just physics at that point, not even biology. Like just it's just more weight or more, whatever, more resistance.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that shame plays a real role. I mean, you can call it shame if you think of it negatively, but you can think about it positively as tough love.
Yeah.
Is really what it is. And it's a loving thing to poke fun at someone in a friendly way. Like, hey man, you've been working out or what? Like, like, you don't have to be a dick about it, but you can bring it up in a concerned way without making them feel bad about it necessarily, but at least just enough where they can kind of have that idea and they can, when they sit at home, like, hey, Austin did, man, he was joking, but now that I look at myself, I should add a little more cardio into my routine here, or whatever it is.
That's like another thing with the military. Like all of my best friends, like if you don't joke with me, then like you're not my friend. Like, right? Like, it's like a signal of like love. Like the more I poke fun at you, the more I love you and the more I care about you. Right?
1,000%. It's one of my favorite parts about the military.
Yep, exactly.
Nobody, well, at least in my version of the military where I experienced it, I'm sure you have as well, is, it's all shit talking.
100%.
You have to. You have to.
If you could not shit talk, or if you couldn't take, like, you wouldn't survive 100%.
Yeah.
Like there's times like I thought I was a decent shit talker and I still, like, I would like crumble and I'm like, oh my God, like this is like been a year of this. Like I can't take this anymore. That kind of thing. And then like, you just got to figure it out. But again, it made me who I am. It toughened my skin, especially like, again, when I got out and got into law enforcement, like the stuff that people say to you, like, again, just laughs out. Like I'd laugh at them if they said something like that was funny. If I was like trying to arrest them or if I was just talking to them, like I would laugh. I'd be like, man, dude, that was really good. That was a good one.
Yeah. And I mean, did you ever experience like when someone that you knew, like third party, that was, good with the banter, and then they didn't give that to you, and they were very professional with you, and they were kind of like ease about? Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah, definitely. Like I think they're trying to figure out, like it was more when I would first meet people. Maybe, like you're still kind of trying to like figure out that relationship or figure out everybody's relationship. But I think I probably did it with you, right? Like when I first met you.
Sure. Yeah.
Like on the boat and stuff like.
Yeah. So I've definitely had those interactions with like other UD techs that I didn't know directly, but knew of through other people or whatever. And even after several interactions, they were kind of reserved a little bit, didn't really, you know, poke fun or whatever. I always took great offense to that.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
maybe in an unhealthy way, I thought a little too much about like, well, how can I earn their respect or something like that? But it kind of hurts. Like, hey, man, like there's plenty of targets here, man. You can rip me up and down, you know. But why aren't you? Like, do you not like me?
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think again, it goes back to like today's day and age and where we're in, because